Hello and welcome to Talk SCB and welcome back to the channel here today, guys, and we're going to be discussing the imminent departure of Neymar. Of course, he is on his way to PSG after the club officially confirmed this morning that they do expect him to leave the club after himself and his father was at the club offices this morning. They spoke with Bartomeu and his intentions were clear. He wants to leave this summer and it's going to happen indeed. So very shortly, I'm hoping that PSG do indeed pay their release clause. They'll have to pay it in full. It cannot be paid in installments. We expect the 222 million in full in advance, and then they can take Neymar and do whatever they like with him. No doubt keep him for a long time, because I think a lot of people are getting confused. They're saying that Neymar could end up at Real Madrid in future. You've got to remember, once PSG get their hands on someone, they do not leave until they're 40. It's quite simple, really. But we're going to be having a look at Neymar's stats today, what he's done whilst he's been with us, the things that have come with that whilst he's been here, and whether our investment in him was worthwhile. Neymar joined when he was just 21 years old. He signed from Santos back in 2013. Now, it seems quite a long time ago, but 4 years he's spent at the club, just over that. He's 25 years old now, so he's getting on to his career. You know, he's not got a load of years left. I think that he's still got a number of years that he can do good things at PSG, but he's not got, say, another 10 years left in him. I'd say, you know, he'll probably peak until he's about 29. Brazilians aren't always known for going into their 30s and producing quality consistently, so it'll be interesting to see how much Neymar actually achieves at PSG. But he signed in 2013. The fee originally was reported as 57.1 million euros, which at the time looked like an absolute steal, but the problem was it was the things that came with that. Both Sandro Rosset and Bartomeu have to take the real problem that came with that, of the tax issues. They tried to evade the tax on the transfer from the Spanish authorities. Obviously they got found out, and that did really tarnish not only Neymar's image a little bit, not only their image, but the club's image, and that's what's important here. It was a very disappointing episode to the club, particularly during a time where we had a sponsor, you know, with Qatar. We ditched our relationship with UNICEF as such on our shirts, and it was a really bad period for the club, and one that we certainly did not enjoy. But Neymar was signed. He was presented in front of 56,000 fans at the Camp Nou. He was welcomed with open arms. We decided to welcome him in our own stadium as opposed to PSG, who are reportedly going to actually parade him around the city. I mean, we do parades ourselves, but we often do those with trophies and not signings. But, you know, each to their own. Neymar in his first season struggled a little bit with injuries. He was trying to sort of develop that understanding with Lionel Messi. They were trying to get that combination play going, something that certainly was a feature later on in their careers. Fantastic, those two together on the pitch in their later years. But in that first season, Neymar was a little bit troubled, you know, with generally adapting to the European stage, the new culture here, as opposed to in Brazil, of course, where he was very successful for Santos. I remember him scoring on his El Clasico debut, cutting inside on his right foot, scoring the opening goal. That was a great moment for him. I remember his hat-trick in his first season against Celtic in the Champions League. You know, he really announced himself that night. It was a great night for him. And it was his second season, really, where things started to go a little bit better for him. Of course, you know, welcoming Luis Suarez into the team helped him enormously as well, having another man in that front three as Witt to link up with. They did brilliant things. But in terms of that first season, you know, 26 La Liga appearances. He scored 9 goals in the league with 10 assists as well. And in the Champions League, 10 appearances there, 4 goals, 5 assists. In terms of the Copa del Rey, 3 appearances, 1 goal. And the Super Cup, 2 appearances and 1 goal there as well. But in terms of Neymar's general contribution in the league and the Champions League in that season, it wasn't quite as spectacular, as fantastic as you were expecting. You know, he came to the club, a lot of pressure was on him as a young boy. You know, how is it going to work out with Lionel Messi? There was a lot of things made of it when he originally came in. But to be fair, Messi welcomed him with open arms. That's never been in doubt here. Neymar said he wanted to come to the club to play alongside Messi. He understood that he would be second in line, and that was always accepted because Neymar has always felt like, you know, Messi should be the better player, and he has been. Messi has always been the better player. There's never been any doubt about that. So there's never any feeling that Messi pushed him out of the club or Messi wasn't happy with Neymar. There was never any evidence of that. They played well on the pitch together. They combined fantastically, and I don't think it was ever an issue for Messi having Neymar alongside him. And obviously Neymar is now left to try and get that sort of main man status, but I don't think it's going to transform him as a player. It's not going to make him into something that he's not. He's not automatically now going to become a better player than Messi because he's not playing at the same club as him. If anything, it's going to weaken him because having Messi at your disposal, having that vision, you know, playing him the passes, giving him the chances, having Suarez's movement, taking the defenders away from you, Neymar's going to find it very difficult on his own. When teams are going to double up on him, they're going to have a lot of men to cover him now simply because they're not being distracted by by other world-class players. But in his second season, like I say, under Luis Enrique, he then had a really excellent season, of course. Very, very successful season as a whole for the club, winning the treble again. A fantastic season. 33 appearances in the league for Neymar, 22 goals and complete with 9 assists. He played 2,570 minutes in total in that season. The Champions League then, 12 appearances and 10 goals. Really fantastic campaign for Neymar in the Champions League, also contributing with an assist on that occasion. And in the Copa del Rey, 6 appearances, 7 goals on the way to the title in that as well, with an assist along the way. So a really, really successful second season at the club. He combined fantastically with Messi, with Suarez. The front three were then known as MSN. It was a deadly combination, one of the best that we'll ever see. And I think even, with the frustrations levelled at Neymar, we will all miss that front three, that devastating attacking trio, which will be remembered for a long, long time to come. But in terms of his third season at the club, once again, his numbers very, very impressive. We won the league again under Luis Enrique, 34 appearances in La Liga, 24 goals from Neymar and 18 assists as well. In the Champions League, 9 appearances, just the 3 goals this time round, but he did contribute with 5 assists. And in the Copa del Rey, 4 goals, 5 appearances and 2 assists as well. So certainly that season we won the league back-to-back. It was a big season for Neymar. He was growing in stature. His goal return was outstanding. He did very, very well in that regard. But for me then, it was the season after that which, although Neymar played well, although that he played with a fantastic way of playing, he was entertaining every single time he went on the pitch. Some of the things that he was doing with the ball, his movement, his dribbling was outstanding. He did lack the finishing touch on many, many occasions last season. And the numbers say that for you. 30 appearances in La Liga, just 13 goals, 15 assists was very, very positive. But in the Champions League, just the 4 goals from 9 appearances. We underperformed last season in the Champions League. Of course, he was part of the historic PSG comeback, coincidentally, and it was a fantastic night that, again, we'll never ever forget. Neymar was, there's no doubt about it, a very, very big part of that. In the Copa del Rey, once again, we did claim the trophy, 6 appearances there, 3 goals and 3 assists. But I just think with Neymar, it never quite felt as though he wanted to stay here for his career. It never really felt like he was perfectly at home here. You never really saw him come out in interviews and say that he loved the club or he loved being here. It was never really about that. It seemed like he was coming here for a period to develop and then he'd move on. The only thing for me though is the fact that Neymar has gone to PSG. I didn't really expect him to make this kind of move. It does scream out about money, and it's as simple as that, because you don't go to PSG to win things. And I really don't believe that, because Neymar cannot simply be going there to win the Champions League. They haven't got to the semi-finals in forever. They're not a team that has got to the final. They've not won it in their history. You do not go there to win the big trophies. That is not a best step for your career. If you wanted to go and win big trophies somewhere, at least go to a club like possibly Man United. And I say that because they've got the money, they've got the resources, they've got the global appeal to be recognised for Neymar. Because one of the things he wants to do is win the Ballon d'Or. Well, at least then go to the Premier League, get commercially recognised from a global audience, and then at least you've got a chance. I could understand that, because they'll pay you big money as well, but you'll be on the world stage. What you don't do is go to Liga 1. You don't go there because, quite frankly, it's not a league that's commercially and globally recognised as one of the best in the world. A lot of people feel like it's PSG and then the rest, even though PSG, of course, didn't win their league last season, but Monaco have lost a lot of players this summer. So I think going there is certainly a step down in his career. He's not going to be watched as often. He will be watched in the Champions League, of course, but you can't tell me that people are going to be tuning in every single week to watch him play against French league opposition. It won't happen. So Neymar's going to lose the aspect of his game, and I just think it's not a great step for him in terms of his career. He may turn out to be very, very successful at PSG, but I personally don't believe that Neymar on his own can turn PSG into real Champions League contenders. I still think they've got a weak mentality, like we've seen when we beat them in the Champions League this season. They couldn't quite see out that win because they didn't quite have it in them. They didn't have that winning mentality, and I also feel like they put all their eggs in one basket here. There's a number of areas in PSG's team which they certainly could identify and strengthen, but they haven't done that. They've gone all out for Neymar. They're not going to be able to sign anyone else now simply because of those financial fair play regulations. But if we're looking at Neymar's career, he was certainly a success here. He was certainly a big part in giving us the trophies that we so desperately desired to bring back the golden days. What I would say though, there's a number of things that I didn't enjoy about Neymar's spell. The first one is the way that he came, the tax problems that came with that from the club, from the president. That was poorly managed. I don't like his father. I simply don't like him. I don't like his entourage and the whole scene that surrounds Neymar. They're all after money. They all go chasing the money. Neymar's father has received many, many things from the club, from money to, a lot of different things indeed, and I just think the whole thing surrounding Neymar is like a whole party situation. His off-the-field antics have been questioned. I particularly won't miss the game every year which he misses and gets suspended for on purpose because of his sister's birthday, and that does happen. That's a real thing, because you just remember, Neymar was part of that fantastic PSG comeback, and it was unbelievable. A few days later, we faced Deportivo in a game which we had to win to keep our La Liga hopes alive. And for me, that game is where we lost the league. Where was Neymar? He was away from that game. Because he'd done so great against PSG, he then thought, you know what? I get to go away now for my sister's birthday. I'll miss this game. What had happened? We ended up losing. And I won't miss that about him. It wasn't all dedication from Neymar. I think we all tried to defend him. I think we all tried to say, look at him, give him a chance, get off his back. But at the end of the day, he's not somebody like, for instance, the man that we all idolise, Lionel Messi. He's not as dedicated. He's certainly not as passionate, and he doesn't love the club. That's absolutely clear now. But he never really seemed that way when he was here either. And there's no doubt that he's a success here. There's no doubt that he's a phenomenal player. He's been a terrific player to watch. But like I say, the way that he left and the way that he conducted himself whilst leaving will always leave a bitter taste in our mouths. We will never forgive him for that. He's left out the back door. He has lost our respect. We won't forget the fantastic memories. If you look at his complete numbers, total appearances for Barcelona in the time that he was here, 186. He scored 105 goals in his time here and contributed 80 assists. And he has created some phenomenal memories, some fantastic matches and titles that he's been involved in. But at the end of the day, it's about the way that you conduct yourself. It's about the way you treat the fans, and we all feel cheated by his actions. And it's really sad because, like I said earlier, we will never forget Messi, Suarez, Neymar. That front three will go down in the history books, and Neymar will be a big part of that. But he's ruined his legacy at Barcelona in the way that he's left, and that is really, really sad for all of us, because I know that we enjoyed watching him. I know that we will miss him, but we will move on. We've had great players before Neymar, and we'll certainly have great players after he's gone. So, guys, I want to know your thoughts on Neymar, the whole situation. Now, finally today, we've received some concrete official news from the club. Hopefully now we can move forward quickly in the market, spend that money who we need to on the targets which we're going to be identifying. I'm going to be doing a video on who we're possibly going to bring in to replace Neymar, even if not directly. We're going to look at a number of areas of which we could strengthen the team with the funds we're going to receive from PSG. Let me know your thoughts down in the below. As always, guys, I'm very excited to hear your thoughts and opinions. Any feedback you have, please do let me know in the comments down below. I'll be back with more videos very, very soon indeed, and I'm still working on the podcast idea that I mentioned in yesterday's video. I will see you very, very soon, but until then, as always, Vesca el Barça.